This is very typical of the install process because it is a very controlled installation. So it'll say, you know, would you like to install or open this file? Then the next step is, are you sure you want to install this application on your computer? And you'll see here that the publisher's identity has been verified. Because there is this level of interaction, it's very important that there's disclosure of who the publisher of the application is and validation that the system access is being provided, as well as the fact that the code for the application has been signed. And you'll see when you look into developing for AIR that you do need to sign your package with a certificate that's from one of two specific vendors. So then there's the third step, which is just installing those shortcuts to the desktop and the start application shortcuts. So when you start to look at AIR applications, you'll see this as being the standard install process. Now, in looking at AIR, it's also important to just understand what else is out there that may be categorized in the same fashion. So I'm going to just show you 4 different technologies. I wouldn't necessarily consider these to be competitors, but they are different technologies that are alternate ways of providing some sort of desktop experience. So the first one is Google Gears, and what I want to make clear is that Google Gears is a browser extension that allows you to include data. So what that means is that you can extend a browser application to provide access to a local database and to files. So if you've got an application running in a browser, you can use this technology in order to say, okay, I'd like to access a local database of information, or I'd like to pull this file from the desktop. But what this means is this isn't a standalone application. It still runs in a browser, but it provides that one component of functionality that AIR does. So it's a very different ballpark, and it's a technology that's currently in beta, so it's not something you can build applications today to run with commercially unless you disclose that it's a beta solution. Then I wanted to also just mention something about widgets, and because widgets is a term that gets used to apply to so many different technologies, I'll just confirm what technology I'm referring to when we talk about widgets. So with widgets, what I'm referring to is a movable mini application that's tied to a full software package. So you may have an application that runs on the web, and you can download a small widget that sits on the desktop that talks to that web-based application and pushes data out. Now these widgets are typically single process or single focus, so it has one function. It's like, tell me the weather in Montreal, and tell me that every day, and refresh that information every 10 minutes. And if you wanted to see, you know, what the weather was in Madrid, you can't get that from your widget unless you go in and tell it you want this new information. So it's like having an extension of a very specific function that you do on a regular basis on the web that's pushed out to your desktop. So it's a bit different than an AIR application, which can have that full functionality and do many different things, and to be responsive and customizable, a widget is limited in what its functionality is. Now the confusing thing is you can use AIR to build a widget if you only want to have one function, but it is capable of so much more is what the key is there, where a widget isn't. It does rely heavily on that full application. And the other technologies to look at are Silverlight. This is a technology that's a browser plugin that adds animation, graphics, audio, video to a web application. And it really is focused on content delivery. And quite often people try to tie Silverlight and AIR together, but I don't know if it's just the fact that they like the light, AIR, and the parallels in the words, or if it's the time that they came out, but they really are not the same. AIR in itself is a tool for developing an application that you deliver to the desktop, where Silverlight is like Flash Player. It's a tool for delivering rich content. So they really are different, and it's important to keep that in mind. Now Silverlight does have a very strong development path, and by version 2.0 we might start to see a lot more functionality that will make it more of a competitor to AIR. So it does have a lot of potential, so we'll see how that evolves. The other final thing I just wanted to mention was JavaFX, and this again is a technology that can be used to create desktop, browser, and mobile applications. So it does have more potential flexibility than Air does in terms of being able to extend that same application to the desktop, to the browser, and to a mobile device, that write once, deploy many time type scenario. But it is a community-driven development effort, so it's an open source solution, but it is still in early days as well. So we don't really necessarily know the full potential of JavaFX. I mean, Java uses the Java runtime, which can be challenging today on different systems for it to work consistently, but JavaFX is, I would say it's in early days, so it's something to keep an eye on, but not necessarily a full alternative solution for right now. So when we're looking at Air, now that we've seen a little bit more about it, I just wanted to take a second to go through another polling question and just to ask you, now that you've seen Air, what do you think your future plans are with it? If you could just take a second to answer that, please. Okay. Right. Okay, so we've got a good mix of people that are interested in Air for more business-to-business applications, and some business-to-business and business-to-consumer, as well as some with an interest but not quite sure how to use it. Okay, great. It's very true. I mean, it's a new technology, so it does take a while to sort of mull over with your particular focus and framework where it would fit nicely. So it does take some time to figure that out. If we look at moving forward with Air, so if you're looking at potential of working on a business-to-business or business-to-consumer application, or just understanding where Air could fit into the mix, we would highly recommend that you work with a development partner, because what this will allow you to do is a couple of different things. The first one is build your Air application quickly and get it into your client's hands. So if you work with somebody that's already been working with Air for a while, it will help to minimize that learning curve, to maximize the potential investment that you're making in Air. Although Air just came out in February, it is something that's been in development with Adobe for about a year. So if your partner that you're considering working with is an Adobe partner, they may have more exposure to Air than just the couple of months that the general public has had. Also, when you're working with a development partner, you have to look at how Air fits into the total picture. So how are you going to set up some of the tracking and monitoring tools to capture that valuable market data? So if you're talking about a web application, you've got really strong stats packages that can help you with that. But if you're talking about an Air application, it's important to think about how you're going to justify that investment and future investments in that application. And also how you can maximize and optimize your current web applications to add that cross-platform capability, as well as that richness that you can with Air. And also how you can leverage RAs throughout your whole client engagement process. So rather than looking at this as just a project to build an Air app, it's like, where does it make sense for this Air app to play in that total client engagement that you're creating? So that's one element. The other element I would say is that when choosing a technology partner, be sure that you look for a partner that really has strong cross-industry expertise, as well as strong technology expertise, and a history of successful projects and clients. What I would just caution is, because this is a new technology, a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon and saying, yes, I develop for Air, yes, I'm an Air developer. But what you want to consider is that when you're building any sort of application, it shouldn't be about the choice of technology first. It should be about the purpose and the function of the application. And then your technology partner will help you choose the right technology that makes sense for that application. So if you're looking at different organizations to move forward with, those are things that you'll want to consider. So look for a team that's really diverse in terms of their skill set and their developers' skill set, as well as their expertise and their project management capabilities as well. So if you're looking at what to do next and how to move forward with Air, certainly I'd encourage you to contact us. We're going to provide some more information at the end of the session as to how you can do that. We can help provide some guidance on how Air might fit into your mix and what those types of interactions may be. I also wanted to bring to your attention some of the URLs for the samples and demos that we've seen today. Don't worry about frantically trying to jot these all down. This is being recorded, this session, so you'll be able to access those from the recording, as well as we'll send a follow-up to you as well after the webinar, so you can be able to access these URLs. So that's some of the samples that we've seen. And if you're looking for inspiration, a few of you had answered that you weren't quite sure where AIR will fit. I'd really recommend that you look at the Adobe AIR Showcase on the Adobe site, as well as there's a site called o2apps.com that has a really nice AIR application showcase as well. And if you go into these, you can look at what's being built already. So it may give you some ideas and inspiration for how it would work for your organization or for your clients if you happen to be an agency. So if we're looking at next steps, first, we've got a few resources that may be helpful. We've got some white papers on rich internet applications and rich e-commerce, as well as one on AIR. And all of those are available from our resource center on our website, so the URL is there. We are also offering additional webinars on rich internet applications, rich e-commerce, and if you happen to be selling content and you're looking at more of a library type solution, we also have some offerings in those areas as well. We'd encourage you to contact us if you have any questions, you just want to discuss a potential project, you want to bounce some ideas off us, feel free to give us a call and to contact us. So I wanted to just take a moment to thank you for attending this webinar, and if you've been joining us for the recording, please take a look at additional webinars that we do offer. And so I wanted to say thank you.